Yeah. So what I've done with this one, I've written a piece in here about what I wanted to do. Okay. It must therefore remain a Word document for me to update as you send work in. Remove all other versions so there's no confusion. Now, just presenting the documentary evidence without matching it to necessary script to fulfil the command verbs will not meet the AC. So maybe less script similar to the evidence for 1.4, which is good, right? So if I move down to what you've written now, or what Stacey's written, she's just put on LO1, right? I added the other bit as well. It just said LO1, LO 1.1, 1.2, 1.3 achieved, yeah?
Yeah.
It needs LO1, what you're trying to do here, yeah?
Yeah.
And then 1.1, 1.2, 1.3, not achieved. It needs to write in. I've annotated it at the side here. How?
Yeah.
You will need to identify your evidence and briefly say why it meets the criteria. Yeah.
So
see also.
1.1 is the job description, so that needed to be a 1.1, the appendices one, and then a brief.
Yeah, but 1.2 actually says, where are we? Summarise. 1.1 is analyse your own role. So it's not just producing the document, saying what your own role and responsibilities are in the situation that you are working in. Yeah. So it'll need a piece in just explaining that. Yeah, it doesn't have to be a huge amount of writing. It just to identify what it is and why it's there.
Yeah.
The next thing is summarise. Yeah.
Yeah.
Aspects of legislation. So it just doesn't need what the regulations are. You just need to summarise the key aspects of legislation and regulatory requirements and codes of practice that relate to your role, actually where you are. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the next one is 103 is another. It's analyse the relationships and boundaries between the teaching role and other professional roles. So you've got your organogram and then an explanation of who does what within the organisation and why it works. Yeah?
Yeah.
Now 1.4, describe points of referral to meet the needs of others. So at 1.4, we've gone down there and 1.4. As an organisation, we work collaboratively with other professionals on and off site, blah, blah, blah. Right down there, boom, boom, boom. Good. Yeah? I don't need to write anything else. It's good. It's exactly what's wanted. Job done. Yeah? Now, again, there were no page breaks between the centres. So LO2, yeah, just said LO2, yeah, and then it was this bit here, yeah.
So when we put LO2 like that, Phil, do you want us to then copy and paste also what learning objective 2 is?
Yes, exactly, like I've done with the first one, yeah. Just put the learning objective in, because that way, you don't need, I mean, it's up to you if you want to, but when you're putting 1.4 there, you could actually put what assessment criteria was if you wanted as well, because that way you don't forget when it asks you to analyse something.
Yeah.
Or explain. Yeah. You miss the command verbs out if you don't put it on, and that way it sometimes it means you've got to add a bit later. Whereas if you do it in the first place, it's done. Yeah. All I'm trying to do at this stage is get you into the routine of setting it out nicely so that you can understand it. It falls into place, because the whole of the qualification really starts with preparation for teaching, which is this bit. Yeah. And then it goes on to what you do as you get into the teaching role, and afterwards how you assess it, and so forth. So one thing sets on from the other. That's why the assignment brief that you were doing with the other organisation doesn't work. You end up confused. You end up saying, well, what unit am I doing? What
we're doing probably about 15, 16 criteria in an assignment.
Yeah, exactly. And not all off the same part as well. Some will be off LO6, some will be off LO3, some will be off LO2, and it gets confusing that way. Whereas I will work through LO1, LO2, LO3 in order, because the qualification lends itself to that. Because as I said, it's all about preparing to teach, then teaching, and what you do when it's finished, and who you get involved with in between. So yeah, so 1.4, yeah, again, doesn't need to be a whole host of writing, just yeah, explaining how it works. So again, good. 2, see below, which are identified and numbered where.
So basically, she's put all that in, but she's not put it as an appendices. So if that said there, the initial assessment, baseline, and evaluation.
Yeah,
if
yeah.
that said the appendices,
that should be an
6
appendices
for
number.
assessment, 7
That
for
should be an
baseline,
appendices
8.
number. But again, you need to look at what 2.1 says. And 2.1 says, when I get there, whoops, explain, analyse.
Looking at something, it's a case of explaining why that's
Exactly.
important.
You've got to explain why it's important. And this one, analyse the role and use of initial assessment. So it's not just producing an initial assessment. You've got to say why it's used and what it's there for. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you need a paragraph or so of an analysis to show that that's what you've done.
Yeah.
Again, that's why I've written in here. Use your explanation and following analysis are for 2.1 and 2.2 are well performed, and I meet to the AC here. Yeah. So that's basically what you say, because if I go back again, 2.1, 2.2, right, okay. Then it goes on to say, yeah, initial assessments are assessments carried out to individual learners, and explains exactly what it was, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm actually not, wherever, yeah, achievements made. Needs identifying to the ACs, it covers, that's all. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's a big piece of text. It covers everything that's in there. Yeah. But it
can
needs.
I just ask there though, Phil?
Sorry.
She's put on there.
Yeah.
Can you put a chunk like that together and have it? Do you need specific? For 2.1 paragraph.
When I read this, I know I can see which is 2.1, which is 2.2, and which is 2.3 and 2.4. Right.
Yeah.
All you've got to do is just put it in.
I'm with you. So you can't have one massive paragraph for 4 criteria. It needs to be a paragraph for each criteria.
Yeah. Okay. Let me put it this way to you. You're an assessor. Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you want to see?
The actual evidence, don't you?
You want to be able to identify the evidence straight onto the criteria without having to search for it. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I'm asking you to do.
Yeah.
It does clarify it for yourself as you're working through it. That's definite. That's the feedback I've got from other students anyway. But it also makes it straightforward for me as well.
Yeah.
They're only little things, but together they make a big difference. Yeah, exactly. So it needs it's on there, right? And again, LO3, 3132, how? You need to identify which documents, appendix, you are referring to and explain how they meet the individual goals and the needs of all learners and curriculum requirements. But again, we've got a nice piece of text, which is good, yeah, and it's meeting the criteria, yeah, but it just needs identifying, yeah.
It needs separated.
Yeah, because sometimes it'll say analyse. An explanation is an explanation. It's straightforward, right? An analysis it needs some sort of outcome, yeah.
Yeah.
So obviously, if the analysis has only got 3 lines, it's not an analysis.
It's not an outcome, is it?
Yeah, it's not. And again, and I need to stress this: there are no wrong answers. Yeah.
No, of course.
It's you saying what your situation is. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Purely and simply as that.
Can I just ask how you've done there, Phil, and you've put comments obviously in a margin at the side. Have you got a exemplar or an exemplar document with that, or is that just something that we do? No, it's something I do that on the. All you do is on review. On Word, there's a review heading up here, right? Yeah.
Review. See it. You just click on review, and it opens up for you like that. And then when you touch it, I'll do it now. Hang on, review. Yeah. Come on, review. And then you put, let me find something. Yeah. Click on the box. It opens up a box here, yeah.
Yeah. And then you put that in.
Good. Yeah?
Yeah, great. Okay, that's
Good.
fine.
And it doesn't matter if I put another one in down here, sorry, a back up here, it'll change all these numbers.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, it's got my initials on to show it's me that's put it on. Yeah. And it'll be the 5th comment. Yeah. And if I put another one up here, that'll be the 5th comment. That'll go to 6 and that'll go to 7 automatically. Yeah.
You're putting all those on, but you know the margin that stays got at the side of that Word document?
This here? That here?
All my work?
No, that only appears when I do the review.
Brilliant. That answers the question. Thank you.
Yeah, yeah. That only appears when I put the review on. Yeah. If you want to take it off again, you just see them over the cross.
Yeah.
Boom, it's gone.
Yeah.
So it's simple as that. It's quite easy to use. I mean, even I can use it, so it must be.
It's open for me then.
So yeah, 3.3 and 4, be able to plan. Yeah. Inclusive teaching and learning. So when planning for sessions, I always differentiate. Yeah. So again, good piece of script. Yeah. That's 3.3 and 3.4. Those have run together because they naturally do run together, those two. It's just a matter of continuing on what you've said at 3.3. If I go back to the here again.
Yeah.
3.2. Explain how your own planning and explain ways in which teaching and learning plans can be adapted. So it's how your planning meets the individual needs and explain how you've adapted them. Yeah, to meet individual learners' needs. Yeah. So three point. Sorry.
You're there still in the right hand column now, where you're giving us examples of what you can use as evidence.
Yeah.
You don't need to write anything in there, do we?
No. That's just leave that blank, because when you get back, when this is what I'm saying. When you get it back, it will have as I'm showing you now. I put those annexures in the side here, but it also says, where are we here on this one? Yeah, appendices or annexure you choose. In support of your evidence, your explanations are clear and show the ways in which you work and teach within the SEN environment and that you work in. Right. A copy of any feedback documentation will be good. In other words, I've achieved it. But if you've got any sort of documentation that you use there, would be even better. Yeah, that's identifying opportunities for learners to provide feedback to inform inclusive practice. Yeah, so where you've got learners can give you information back as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
Periodically through the course, as we're working through the course. You may get a short interview on the phone from our student welfare officer, who will ask you how I'm doing.
Okay.
Yeah. So just it's important feedback, because I thrive on feedback. I need to know exactly what's happening. I have a lot of learners that English is not their first language, so I must make sure that they're understanding me okay, and that's why. When I'm delivering, you've probably noticed by now that my delivery is fairly slow.
Yeah.
The reason for that is because I have a lot of learners whose English is not their first language, and I do speak slower so that they fully understand. Yeah.
Right.
So, 5.1, I put your analysis here has been discussed and effective. Benefits and limitations are well presented. You have analysed effectively the range of resources, and you explained the way in which you use inclusive learning techniques, resources, technology to promote the equality and value of diversity. As well as your descriptions of these, your teaching observations will demonstrate explanations here. So again, LO5, if you look at the command verbs on here, you've got analyse, analyse, analyse. So you've got three and
It's gone again. It's gone again.
You're still showing.
You disappeared. You've come back again. I can hear you.
Oh, right, okay, yeah. But as I said, on 5, you've got three analyses, yeah, and then it's use effective learning. Now, how can you show using?
Giving you examples of in appendices, etc.
But you can't show that you're actually using it, can it?
No.
So, but your teaching observation will, won't it? Your teaching observation will show that you have used inclusive teaching and learning, because there's a question on the recording sheet for the observer to say, did you use inclusive training? And it's going to say yes, and a little bit of a note at the side. So that will cover 5.4. I said, as well as your descriptions of these your teaching observations, demonstrate the explanations here. Yeah.
Yeah. Fine. Right.
So again, you've got use and demonstrate. Well, you can only explain. You can't use or demonstrate on paper. Yeah. But what you can do is use your observations or the copies of your observation sheet to show 5.4, 5.5. Again, adapt to the learning objectives, and 5.7, communicate with learners and learning professionals to meet the individual needs. Now, again, this will be some documentary evidence where you've got a learner that has got particular difficulties, because, I mean, I know you have a whole range of different things, yeah? So it'll be probably extremely easy for you to pick one out of there and say, what we did was...
things like speech and language professionals, behaviour support professionals. And
exactly. Yeah. And then she's done 6.1, we have a problem with. This is the only one she's had a problem with, and it's be able to assess teaching and learning education. What you have here is somewhat repetitive script, which goes somewhere to meeting the AC. However, the emphasis of this learning objective is the assessment process, not just initial and diagnostic assessment, but how you assess and make judgments on progress and achievement. Any documentary evidence needs to be presented rather than just descriptions. Yeah.
So, say for me, what I used a lot in cooking lessons was books and photographs of students, and kind of I used to annotate work.
Exactly. Photographic evidence.
Discussion. Copy that and use that. Photograph that, the annotation that I'd used.
Yeah, anything. I mean, in some ways, with the learners that you've got, you'll use something that actually I use quite a lot in the higher professional end. Level 7 and so forth, and that is professional discussion.
Yeah. So
you will assess in a discussion with the student their understanding, won't you? You'll be talking to them, and they'll be telling you things back, and you'll be that feedback will be giving you. It'll be a method of assessing. Yeah.
Not just like you said, initial and diagnostic assessment.
Exactly. Yeah, we've covered all that. That was in the earlier bit. We've covered all that. This is the bit about the ongoing process. As I said, the whole thing works from before teaching, and assessment afterwards. Yeah. Yeah. And then it'll come on at the end. At the end of this, it covers 6.3 different types of assessment. How you involve them, how you meet their needs, enable learners to produce assessment evidence that is valid, reliable, sufficient, authentic, and current, and meets the internal and external assessment requirements. So again, with your cooking, it's ideal. Yeah.
It is, yeah. Because you can see progress well, and you can evidence progression well through numerical or even through written work.
Yeah. And this one here, I mean, 6.4 actually says what I've just been talking about. Use questioning and feedback to contribute to the assessment process. It's a natural thing. It happens all the time. Sometimes it's not recorded, but when I do it with the professional end, it's got to be a recorded discussion, either video or audio, for them to put in evidence.
So even our students that can't speak, because we have a lot of students that can't speak, however, you can still use questioning and feedback from using symbols.
Yeah, exactly.
Actually asking a question through symbols and answering through pointing to a symbol.
Somebody's actually mentioned. I think Stacey's mentioned that somewhere, and I thought, that's very good. That's a valid. Yeah, yeah. So, the last one, 6.6, communicate assessment information to other professionals with an interest in the learner achievement. So that will be how you record, basically, what goes on here. Yeah.
Would that also be, because it says other professionals, so for us, all the students that are with us currently are all funded by the local authority.
Yeah.
So the other professionals we often have to sit down with are the local authority to actually prove a progression.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, that's great. And also, you'll have your own internal IV.
Yeah.
So they've got to see some of the work as well, you know. So they're making a judgment on your assessment of that learner. Yeah. Okay. So that's exactly what it means. Anybody that's involved in that process with you, where they will need documentary evidence to show what's been achieved. Yeah. Or physical evidence of what's been achieved. Analyse ways in which minimum core can be demonstrated in planning, delivery and serving. I put on here, analysis is sound, if a little off topic, but explains how you develop the subjects, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah. Apply minimum core, evidence here needs to be identified and referenced, that's all, yeah.
So for that, when you're saying apply, are you looking at schemes of work and session plans as part of your evidence along with some annotation there?
Yeah, yeah. It needs to show. Yeah, it needs to show. That's all. The evidence here needs to be identified and referenced. That's all. Yeah. And 8, I haven't actually. Why have I not done 8? Thought I had. Oh, hang on. Let me whisk to the end. Sorry. Just let me. Oops.
It's all right.
Hello, 7. Yeah, you see, I put it on here as well. Documentary evidence required. Yeah. Where are we? 7.2. This could be part of your review for the effectiveness of resources. Something she's written in there will fit better in there, right? And again, 7.2 is achieved. How again? Because I've got no detail. 8.2. 8.2. I feel I could improve my confidence, blah, blah, blah. And she writes quite a bit on there, which is excellent. Yeah, and fulfills exactly 8.2. Now, why I've not put it in the assessment sheet up at the top, I'm not sure. Because I've already sent to this. But, I'll quickly have a look at that. Hold on. If you don't mind.
No, have a look, that's fine.
Come on, back up. Actually, I've had a huge amount on this last couple of weeks, and it's set me back a little bit with all my students because I've been doing work for somebody else. Well, in the organisation, but it's stuff that should have been done previously, which I haven't got around to. So 8.2 is it gets an A, and that gets an A as well. Okay. I'll fill that in afterwards when it comes back next time. Doesn't matter about that, but So again, at the end of all that, I even put you a summative statement in. Again, you provided evidence for most of the LOs and ACs here to meet the achievement of Unit 1. The only issues are LO6, where there are more different data required to meet the ACs. Very good effort, which requires very little to achieve. Please note this format set up for future units, assessment sheet above, and each LO title in bold. Any appendices numbered and clearly referred to rather than achieved. Yeah. So, but from what I've seen up to now, I've got no real concerns now. Most of the evidence I'll feel will be there. It may be missing on some of the units. But what I'd like to do now I've done that is look at where we are. I think we had a look at Unit 2 last week, didn't we? Where we showed there was quite a lot of cross-referencing.
Mm-hmm.
I think
that might lose me tonight going to a different one, Phil.
Right, hang on.
I've not done a learning outcome 1 yet.
Yeah, but what I can do with this for you, it'll just show you if I can find where I put it. I've moved some of the stuff around on here and I've lost it now. developing teaching and learning. Oh dear, I seem to have lost it. I'll have to put it back in if it's there. Spec sheet, cover sheet, successful ebook. To IRA, middle of the pack. Right. Now again, Unit 2 is set up exactly the same as Unit 1. Yeah. It will tell you what it is. I've not put the learning object outcomes here, but I'll put those in after. Analyse the application of pedagogical principles in your own area. So again, analyse teaching principles you use in your teaching day-to-day situation. Evaluate again the effectiveness and use of creative imagery, and evaluate using detail from your lesson planning and schemes of work. Use initial assessment, right, so you've then got Unit 1, LOs 2.3, 2.4, but make sure you've included learning styles, because I think that's the only bit that's different, yeah?
Yeah, that's fine.
Again, refer to copies of schemes of work, LO 3.1. Again, as always, when you cross-reference, check what you said meets these 3 points, yeah?
Yeah, yeah.
So it's all it's a matter of doing is nipping back to Unit 1 at the point I've showed you and say, what did it actually say there? Does it cover those? Does it cover those 3? Yes, it does. I don't need to put anything else. It doesn't actually mention internal and external requirements, so I put a few words in about internal and external. So you can put on, refer to copies of schemes of work at Unit 1 at L.1.3, and, right, to meet internal and external requirements, we do this, 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 and this. Yeah, as straightforward as that.
And then you'll give us pointers, and you'll just keep sending it as back until everything's achieved anyway, won't you?
Yeah. Each time you get it back, this will have gone, and my assessment of what you've done will be in here. Yeah.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
Well, I changed this. I changed the word here to assessment front sheet. I put your name in, and then it gets a different title. But I use this sheet every time. Then when it closes, this goes back as it was originally, and I've got you a copy then that goes over the top of your work. Yeah.
Brilliant.
So again, 2.1 cross-reference, 3.1, Unit 3.2. LO 3.5, noted the and others. So there's a little bit extra in there, yeah?
Yeah.
So, yeah. Cross-reference Unit 1, LO 8.1, 8.2. Read and respond to the reading resource. Analyse theories of behaviour management. Now, I've got some, on the VLE, I have put a couple of handouts I think I've stuck in. But there is something on that in the book on that theories of behaviour.
Yes.
Cross-reference Unit 1 4.3. So you can see there is a lot of cross-referencing that you can do in Unit 2. You just need to check it as you put it in. That's all. Yeah. And sometimes it's worth just saying something about it. That's all.
Yeah, just so you've got a little sentence or something.
Yeah, that's all. Yeah. Again, copies of your records from your 2 learners with narrative showing where they meet the 5 points. Straightforward as that, yeah?
Brilliant.
Cross-referencing, refer to your records in your explanation, also reading resource. As per 7.1, 7.2, but slant to assessment in your analysis. So that's asking for an analysis again, yeah? So you can refer to those, but again, it will say, I think on Unit 1 it's demonstrated on planning and delivering, and this one has got assessing inclusive teaching and learning. Yeah. So you need to add something in on that one.
Okay.
You can use a reference to your teaching obs. Again, apply minimum core. So you can use your reference from your teaching obs to support this, as in section on obs sheet. Yeah.
Yeah.
Theories and models and reflections. Cross-reference Unit 1 8.1. Check that you made an evaluation as well as a review. Yeah.
Yeah.
And again, 7.2, cross-reference 8.2. Again, make sure you did an analysis.
Yeah.
I think that should say
Before.
Before.
Yeah.
But not in capital. Before evaluation, yeah.
Yeah.
And again, at the end, I've put on, there will be a pointer to where the evidence lies, but it might be slightly different for all of you, depending on your situation.
Yeah.
It's not an exhaustive, it's purely advisory. Feel free to extemporise, personalise your script as you see fit. Make sure you start with a new page in your portfolio and keep each LO headed, then 1.1, etc. at the start of each response. Now, what I mean by that, it's not as clear when I've read it myself. You will have, on your work, you will, underneath, you will have page numbers, yeah?
Yeah.
So what I want you to do, when you get to the end of Unit 1, let's say it's page, I don't know, 20, yeah?
Yeah.
Unit 2 will start page 21.
I'm with you. You don't want it to start page 1 again.
Not a new page 1, because what you're actually producing is an electronic portfolio, and it will be like a book. It will start with Unit 1 at page 1 or page 2, whatever it is, and it will finish at Unit 39, page, I don't know, 80. Depends how many we've got by then. Yeah. So it'll just look like a book. I can then, once we've done all the assessments each time, this sheet will have your summative assessment in here, and it will have my signature and the date on there. And it will go into registry, and then it's done and dusted, and we move on to the next one. And as 39's finished, I can then say, right, okay, claim the certs. Simple as that.
Yeah. Brilliant.
So I'll come back off that now. I'll have to move that back. Yes, I do want to make the changes. So I'm back to Zoe's work again now. So you're quite happy with the procedure now once it's setting up?
Yeah, I am. Yeah, that's fine.
So as I said, out of the whole of the stuff that Stacey sent there, most of it fits. It just wants a little bit of tweaking. It needs a little bit more organisation, and job's done. Basically, as simple as that.
Work put in there.
Yeah. But the main thing is with everybody, and you can remind the others if they can't hear me, your name needs to be on somewhere. Yeah. I mean, I get tons of work coming in from students. And if it comes in with no name on it, I usually send it straight back.
Yeah, no, I get that.
Yeah, because on my sorry?
Just put it on a footer on each page, yeah?
Yeah, either the header or the footer, it doesn't matter which. Yeah, I'll just close that down a minute. Yes, I do want to save the changes. And if I close that down as well a minute. You can see on here on my desktop, I've got Stacey, Joe, Jenny, Alison, Zoe. Yeah.
My folder's not working it yet.
Well, yeah, that's what I say. If I open your folder, it will say this folder is empty. Yeah. Okay. But the other one, like Stacey's, has got what she sent me. Yeah. Yeah. Basically.
No, so she sent you all that work, but they're not done in actual appendices, are they?
That's right, they're not. They need identifying. That's the thing to where they actually fit. Yeah,
I get that.
Well, like I say, if you work from how it appears first.
Yeah.
In other words, I think your first one is your job description. Yeah. Bang, job description goes in. That's appendix 1 or an extra one, whatever you want to call it. I don't mind. Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine.
So long as it's identifiable. So that was that. And if I go to Jenny's.
Yeah.
Come on. Oh. I think this is upsetting it. No, it's not letting me open it.
Has she done appendices or not, Jenny?
No, that's what I'm going to show you now.
Yeah,
it's even more disorganised. Right, open now.
It's more disorganised. Jesus, right.
Here we are. Now, look, we've got Appendix 2, student feedback, Unit 24. Yeah? Unit 2. Unit 3, Appendix 3. ILS from weeks 27 and 28. Teacher peer assessment from Unit 1 appendix, 2, Unit 1 assessed. Because I've just like the other one. Oops. The assessment's up here, yeah, and done. I've only got as far as that on hers because there's quite a few things need doing before I can actually sign it off. The work's there, it just needs better identification. That's all.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Right, well, I will crack on with mine. We're up a week and a half time, so I think you'll be getting a lot of work from all of us, to be honest with you, because when we've got no students, it's such a busy time.
Yeah. I understand that. What I would suggest is when you're sending stuff in like this, keep it to a single unit.
Yeah. Just send all unit 1 and then all the unit 1 and all the work unit 1.
Exactly, and then that identifies itself and it's straightforward. I can get it into your folder. Job done. Yeah. And as we work through the units, I can add it in, and it'll keep going in each time, so that we eventually arrive at a completion. And as I said before, I think my 6-month schedule was a little bit pessimistic actually. Now I've seen some of the work coming through. If as you say, when you're off shortly. The work will start to come through and we can get it all boxed off, and that will be ideal.
Brilliant. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll speak to you next week.
Yeah, no more questions, and we'll call it a draw at that. If you'll pass the information on, as I said, I've recorded this, so the others can have a quick look at what we've done tonight, and that way everybody will be on the same page.
Yeah, that's great.
Okay then, Zoe, thanks for attending, and I will stop recording